Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Captain Frost and today we're going to talk about respecing in Path of Exile 2. Do we need respec to be cheaper? Or do we need for it to stay on the level that it is currently? So for that we need to dive deeper in our recent footage that we saw in Gamma Kanui and other one and Agorath or something like that trailers, where we saw that our characters now will use multiple skills to be successful in killing enemy monsters, and we probably will have some changes towards our movement skills. And this all brings one interesting thing. If we will have a bunch of different skills and not only one that we need to specialize in, and if you were to change one out of out of three main skills, and you need to rebalance your talent tree for that, so you need to take some other talents, not for like strike skills, but maybe for more AoE or for more movement speed rather than attack speed only. You will need more regret orbs just for your current character to get going. Instead of how we do currently in Path of Exile, you're coming up with the build from the start, you're going through the campaign, you're going through endgame, you're getting your levels, you're spending everything on one simple single stuff that you're dealing damage with, or it's mostly going like that. So you don't really have that variety in styles of how you can play your character. You don't have so many moving parts that you can get in or get out of the build, because you only have one or maybe two core skills. But even if there are two core skills, they are somewhat similar, kind of always. And yeah, it's not the case that we're talking about here. So with Path of Exile 2, if you will have a bunch of different main abilities, and they will probably function a little bit different one to another, and if you want to create any changes to your build on the get-go, you will definitely need way more regret orbs or its equivalent in Path of Exile 2. So do we need cheaper respecs? Always before, whenever we've talked about respecs, and whenever GGG talked about respecs, it was more of a, if you want to get completely another character from your first one, it should be, you should feel the price of it if you want to respec it through regret orbs. So you need if you need 100 regret orbs to completely change your build and to get all the different talents, then it should feel pricey. So you would be encouraged to go and level up second character rather than completely respec your first one, especially if you're playing solo leagues or you're playing in kind of restricted trading where you're not really trading everything and you're not really able to buy all those regret orbs. Because in trade league, yeah, it's way easier, it's not a problem. But it may be a problem for people who just play solo, even if they don't really play SSF, if they don't really like to trade too much. Yeah, they trade for some items, but they don't really want to spend too much time getting their chaos orbs, then getting their regrets orbs and stuff like that. So, do we need more forgiving respect situation in Path of Exile 2? I think that we definitely do need to have that, and it may not come in terms of just you have your instant respec button that you can press anytime and you will have completely you can basically create another character with one button and don't pay for it at all. But I do think that we need either more regret orbs or their equivalent, or we need some ways in endgame to progress towards getting additional respec points while you're just going through the content of the game. Because with such an increase in scale of the game, with such an overhaul of combat system, with such a combat system itself where you do have this bunch of different skills that you want to play or you want to combine and try them out, it's gonna be way harder for you to come up with a good functioning build, or maybe with a fun build, or with a build that has very good synergy between those skills rather than what you were doing with Path of Exile 1, where you do have this more simplistic tool of one main skill. You can take one of the 3 or 4 movement skills that you can spam, then you have your buffs, then you have your debuffs and your auras, and that's it, you're done. Now we wouldn't have this simple way of just getting our gameplay out. We will need to construct basically a complete class. We will need to construct our class with some different dashing abilities, different abilities that deal damage. I don't know how the damage will be distributed between those different skills. Maybe you will have 2 or 3 dash skills that don't really do any damage, and then you will have your main ability. But that's gonna be kinda lame, because why would you even then want to have these multiple abilities that you have all these gem sockets for with the rework of system of equipment system and gem system? So yeah, there's a bunch of questions in terms of that, and I definitely think that respecking should be way easier, at least in terms of respecting this current character in some smaller margins. So if you want to change 10 or 20 or 30 talents, it should be way easier. You shouldn't be pressed to get all that currency in order to have the ability, or at least you should have a deterministic way where you can work towards this goal of I want to respect some stuff, which means that I'm gonna go and farm this thing, and I will have enough resource for that in maybe a couple hours or something like that. Even though we do have currently some ways, some league mechanics that are better for you to farm currency in, it's still not as deterministic, because you're not guaranteed to have regret orbs or even scour orbs from which you can buy some regret orbs. And that is still kind of random, and if you're not really interested in trading too much, then it may be a problem. And we 100% need some system that will be way less punishing when you're leveling up your character through campaign, through acts, when it comes to our talent system. So on lower levels, make a pseudo currency, make some things that will give you respect points that are temporary and that will be awarded from quests, or that you can buy from the vendor while you're still lower level. Because people will want to, they will want to play with that system of new bunch of skills with all these interactions between skills. They will want to try out this synergies between them on lower levels, in first act, in second act, in fifth act. It doesn't really matter, and especially it will have a very, very good feel for people who are on the first acts and that are only trying the game first time. You definitely want to just try things out and to make it as seamless and easy as possible. And this will be very, very positive, not even for casual players, but just for new players that will go in Path of Exile 2, think that, okay, this game changed, now it's a completely different game. They've said that they've decluttered a bunch of stuff. It looks way better. Gameplay itself looks way cooler. And yeah, there's just a bunch of different skills that people are using. It seems like there are more class fantasy inside the game. So I want to try it. They go in and they try it, and they not feel as punished at first levels, at first acts. And they can theory craft at least a little bit. They can try all the skills. They can feel how they work with talents, with good talents combined with them, with all those skill rotations. So yeah, I definitely think that this system should be improved in Path of Exile. It should be way less strict, especially at lower levels, and probably have some deterministic way of getting your stuff done in terms of you respecting your character in the end game. Because I can completely understand that deterministic ways in ARPGs where random is king and where you want to have your different items, loot and stuff being randomized, being the whole interesting part is in you getting good loot, whenever there's a bunch of bad loot as well, and you're like, yes, this is a good item and I'm very happy for it. But it shouldn't be like that with regret orbs or just with respecking options. You should have a way that if you want to work towards a goal where you want to change a bunch of stuff about your character, you should be able to farm for that. Because it's not really an RNG dopamine hits whenever you're like, yeah, now I have +1 respect talent point. Nice. Now I need only 10 more. Let's go. Yeah, that's not how it works, at least in my own opinion. And I don't say that it should be instantaneous and just like whenever you want to do that, you do that. Get some cost that will be for those actions, but it still should be way less strict. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good time, and let's wait for Path of Exile 2 and see when it comes what it's gonna give us. Yeah, again, have a good day.